Hi everyone, welcome to your MYP tutor, and today we're going to be going over geometric sequences. The first thing I want you to consider is this pattern, 2, 4, 8, and 16. This is a geometric sequence because it has a common ratio. So if you look over here, you notice that you have to multiply by 2 every single time to get to the next term. Another way to find out the common ratio is to use this formula, right? So to use this formula, all you have to do is do term 2 over term 1. So it's going to be 4 divided by 2, because this is term 2, this is term 1. And then we're given with 2. So therefore, the ratio is 2. Now, another thing I want you to memorize is this formula, because the formula is for geometric sequences. You're going to be using it a lot in this unit. So A stands for term 1, or the first term. R stands for the common ratio. N stands for the term you're looking for. So if you're looking for the fourth term, it's going to be term 4 is equal to A times R 4 minus 1 to the power of 4 minus 1. Okay? And another thing I want you to note is that geometric sequences only deal with multiplication and division, whereas arithmetic sequences deal with addition and addition and subtraction, because they have common differences, whereas geometric sequences, they have common ratios. Okay, let's move on to question 1. The nth term of a geometric sequence is given by un is equal to 3 times 4 to the power of n plus 1. Find the common ratio r. So the first thing that we should do is to find the first term and the second term, and then to use the ratio formula to find what the ratio is. Pretty straightforward question. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is to find u1. Okay, so u1 is equal to 3 times 4 to the power of 1 plus 1, because we're putting n to be 1. So it's going to be 3 times 4 to the power of 2, that equals to 3 times 16, that equals to 48. The next step is to find what u2 is. So u2 is equal to 3 times 4 to the power of 2 plus 1. It's going to be 3 times 4 to the power of 3, that equals to 192. Now, as I said before, the second step is to, let's choose a color. Let's do green. The second step is to use the formula to find the ratio. So it's going to be 192 divided by 48, and that gives you 4. Therefore, the ratio is going to be 4. Okay. Now for the second question. Find u1, so the first term, and the common ratio given that the fourth term is 20 and the 10th term is 1,280. So we are looking for A and we're looking for R. The first step is to make 2 equations. So first step is to make 2 equations, because that's the only thing you can do. You don't have any other information. And the second step is to do elimination. I'll show you how to do that. Elimination. And the third step is substitution. Okay? So usually for these type of questions, you will most likely always follow these 3 steps. Okay? Let's get started. Okay, so the 2 equations that I'm going to make is u4 is equal to A times R to the power of 4 minus 1. Because the geometric series formula is Tn is equal to A times R to the power of n minus 1, right? So I could write that as that. And then since u4 is equal to 20, then it's going to be 20 is equal to A times R to the power of 3. I'm going to do the same thing for the 10th term, so it's going to be u10 is equal to A times R to the power of 10 minus 1. So it's going to be 1,280 is equal to A times R to the power of 9. Now, the second step, elimination. Okay. So we're going to take 1,280 equal to a times r to the power of 9. And then we're going to divide it by 20 is equal to a times r to the power of 3. So 1,280 divided by 20 is 64. A is eliminated. And then 9 minus 3 is 6. So r to the power of 6. We're going to do this on both sides. And then we're left with r is plus or minus 2. Okay. Now that we know the value of r, we're going to substitute the value of r into either one of these equations, right? It doesn't matter which one. I'm going to choose the first equation. Okay, so third step, substitution. It's going to be 20 is equal to a times r to the power of 3. Now, in this case, we have a positive and we have a negative, right? So it could either be positive 2, it could be negative 2. So there's going to be two different answers practically. So it's going to be the first possibility is positive, so it's going to be 20 is equal to a times 2 to the power of 3. We get 20 is equal to a times 8, and then a is equal to 5 over 2. Now the negative possibility is going to be 20 is equal to a times negative 2 to the power of 3. Then a is just going to equal negative 5 over 2. So that's how you find a and r. So let's write our therefore statement. Let's do white. Therefore, a is equal to negative 5, positive or negative 5 over 2, and then r is equal to positive or negative 2. So to do a check, you always want to do a check after these type of questions. All you have to do, so check, is just substitute a and the value of r into one of these equations. So I'm going to choose this one. 1,280 equal to a times r to the power of 9. 1,280 is equal to a. The value a is, let's do the positive one, 5 over 2. And then the value of r is just 2. So it's going to be 2 to the power of 9. So if we use our calculator, 2 to the power of 9 times 5 divided by 2. It gives us 1,280. So that's correct. Now let's do the negative option, see if that works. So 1,280 equal to a times r to the power of 3. So 1,280 is equal to negative 5 over 2. And then we have negative 2 to the power of 9. Okay, so negative 2 to the power of 9 is equal to negative 512 times negative 5 divided by 2. And that equals to positive 1,280. So both are correct, and you can move on to the next question. For the sequence 3, negative 6, 12, and negative 24, determine the ninth term. Okay, this is also a fairly simple question because you have all the information in front of you. So if you write down the formula you're supposed to use, so a times r to the power of n minus 1, you know the ninth term. Let's check everything off. You know the ninth term. You know what a is. You know you can find out what r is, and you know the n. So you know all your information just looking at the question, right? So to find what r is, so first step is to find what r is, or the value of r, right? So we could use the formula for finding the ratio, T2 over T1. It's going to be negative 6 over 3. Therefore, it's going to be negative 2, right? So every single time you're going to have to multiply the term by negative 2. So now that we know the ratio, we know what a is. We know a is 3. We know ratio is -2, and we know n is 9. Therefore, let's just write down our answer. It's going to be Tn is equal to 3 times -2 to the power of 9 minus 1. So it's going to be 3 times -2 to the power of 8. And that gives us, let me check. I believe it's 768. So there you have it. If you have any questions, please leave your comments down below and I'll answer them in my next video.